Hello, this is my part 2 of Big Yoshi's Melee tier list review of Sinister Scraffy's video. No hate to this guy, I said this in the last video. Now on to it, sorry it's been a minute.
B tier is characterized by notable top tier or high tier matchups, or relatively decent matchup spreads across the board.
I agree with that.
Kicking off our list at 15 is Luigi. Luigi has the worst aerial mobility in the game. To compensate for that, he has the best wave dash in the game, but the worst traction. You would think this character is pretty good in practice, but he is really
You mentioned like 2 bad things, so I wouldn't assume he was good in practice.
not all that great. Good aerials, horrible recovery. The reason why
That is a melee thing, man. I'm sorry. I think most characters in this game don't have a very good recovery.
Luigi is this low is because he gets absolutely owned by all the relevant characters, but especially Spaceys. He stands
agree
no
with that.
chance. He is really reliant on luck to see any success. I used to be a vivid Luigi believer, but I've been let down far too many times. Number 14, Link. I know what you're thinking, but no, Aklo did not sway my decision for Link. I have always believed in Link. The frame data is pretty subpar, but Link makes up for it with good moves and projectiles. Good throws with a crap grab.
That's the issue, though, is the thing about Link. He has a shitty ass grab. So it's so hard to throw out.
Out of shield game is really awkward, especially against Spaceys and Peach. However, Link has a better relevant matchup spread than Luigi. In my opinion, he beats Yoshi, Samus, DK, Pikachu, and really defeats Luigi pretty convincingly. Very heavy, great at abusing.
I'm not saying I don't agree with this. I need to see more Links other than Alcalo to like sway my opinion on that.
Crouch cancel, and a very interesting recovery that can be tricky to edgeguard. Number 13, Donkey Kong. Better results than Luigi by far relative to the time
he probably has more results than Dr. Mario and Luigi combined.
Spent. Great punish, suboptimal neutral, and when I say suboptimal, I really mean barely works well enough to get by. Beats Pikachu, decent Fox matchup, but he hates Sheik, Falcon, and Peach. ICs can be really awkward for him sometimes, but I do think that DK beats Yoshi potentially, as well as possibly go even with Puff. Polarizing matchups at the end of the day, but the bad matchups for Donkey Kong are not as bad as Link's.
Oh yeah.
Number 12, Dr. Mario. Amazing kill confirms, amazing projectile. Cape is still good. Up B cancel is very handy. Amazing ledge dash.
I personally would probably put DK. No, I wouldn't.
Just wishes it were faster or had better range. Surprisingly neutral, matchup spread overall, and for that reason, takes it over DK, despite lack of results. Every matchup is doable for Doc, and fairly easy to execute. Good smash attacks, and good aerials.
Speed it up.
Beats Pikachu, ICs, and everyone below him. Number 11.
Wait, he loses the Kirby. I don't know if that's true or not, but if that is, that's horrible.
ICs, and everyone below him. Number 11, Samus. Samus is a crouch cancel abuser. It is just a bit slow, a bit too slow to make it happen. A lot of awkward multi-hit moves that can be useless most times. Missiles are really good though. Charge shot is pretty good. It's the strongest projectile in the game. Solid Fox matchup, probably close to even. Really good range, and lives forever. Just struggles a lot more when playing from behind, just because trading is a common thing that happens to Samus. Good Spacey's matchup relative to B tier, likes fighting ICs, and really struggles with Falcon and Sheik. If Samus could combo more consistently, then it would definitely be an A tier and not B tier. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for A tier.
Go to A tier. S tier.
Pikachu. Alright guys, it's the time you've been waiting for. A and S tier. A tier means you are a character that can likely win a national tournament. Has really high peaks, but the lows can be pretty low. Not the most consistent characters, but still very solid overall. Usually has something really good about them that
Or a
makes them
stick.
stand out. I would recommend a secondary character to deal with usually one matchup in particular, but we have seen a few players really impress me and convince me that it is possible to solo main these characters and still find success.
I think every mid-tier character, an A tier and S tier character are possible to be solo mainable.
Number 10,
So
Pikachu. Pikachu has amazing speed, frame data, and recovery. Heavily
I agree with
struggles
that.
in certain matchups though, making it inconsistent. However, I do see amazing potential in Pikachu as a secondary character. Puff, Peach, and Sheik really give Pikachu a hard time and causes its inconsistencies. Pikachu is an anti-meta character with surprisingly solid Spacies
I
matchup,
agree with
which
that.
gives it the edge
I've been saying Pikachu's like an A tier character for forever, and people always thought I was like smoking crack.
compared to Samus. Number 9, Ice Climbers.
I think Ice Climbers are probably a little bit higher just because of the Sheik matchup.
Has some really dominant matchups, such as Sheik and Pikachu. However,
Yeah, that's
they
the
get really
thing.
destroyed by Peach and Jigglypuff, and that's not even mentioning Spacies give Ice
No, I
Climbers a
think
hard time.
Ice is 100%
Shares the issue of
better.
Pikachu and needing some bracket luck to make work. It's a good secondary character, but the problem is that Ices is very unique compared to other characters, and requires even more work compared to a simpler character such as, let's say, Sheik. But we have seen some really nice success with Ice Climbers, such as Slug,
I think Ices is
Wobbles,
better
and
than.
Fly.
He's gonna name the entire IC wiki, but I think Ices is better than Pikachu, Yoshi. Who else? There has to be someone else.
Amanita. This character has some really big potential,
Not better than
and because
Peach.
of these huge runs, and especially because of players such as Slug, I've had my mind changed. I think Ice Climbers can do it. I just think it requires a little bit of luck, bracket luck for the ICs. It destroys Pikachu, by the way, as I
He has a
neglected to
really
mention
good
earlier.
matchup against Sheik.
So I think that's one thing that really gives ICs the edge against Pikachu.
Forgot to
Is it is
mention
an
the Sheik
extremely
matchup.
dominant matchup, and I have a hard time being able to say that Pikachu is better than Ice Climbers, even though the Ice Climbers has such a strong matchup against it. So it does struggle against Yoshi though, and that's another reason why I feel this next character is deserving of number 8, and that is Yoshi. Amsa has insane results with this character,
Hamza does.
but I think that Yoshi is literally the hardest character in the
I agree
entire
with
game.
that.
So I give my respects to Amsa-san, because I think there is a reason he is the only person to make Yoshi work at the highest of all
Yoshi's
levels.
stupid hard.
He has a really good Ices matchup, surprisingly good Puff matchup, solid Marth matchup, but I think Spacies make Yoshi struggle a lot. Sheik also gives Yoshi a very hard time. I know that Amsa has victories over Jmook.
That's because Jmook for a while there wasn't playing the matchup right. I don't hold that against him. I think that's just Jmook not being like experienced in that matchup at all.
But Plup has a really convincing matchup into Amsa. And I think that that has a lot to do with the character. I do respect Plup, and I think he's one of the greatest of all times.
He is.
But the thing is, yeah, Sheik is going to really give you trouble as a Yoshi player. And I think Amsa can turn it around a little bit, but I'd have a hard time saying that he can get some consistent results against Plup. I do believe in the guy, though. Number 7, Peach.
that
Now,
hurts as a true
I'm making this
DFW.
after Genesis, but
I
I'm
agree with
actually
that.
not changing Peach's placement
I would.
based off of
My
what.
A tier is Ice Climber. Ice Climber's here. Yoshi, Pikachu, Yoshi, Ice Climber's
What
Peach.
I saw there.
That's my A tier.
Because the thing is, I've already seen that Peach can do it. Just because Armada stopped playing does not mean he has not definitively proven Peach's viability. Peach's
Peach
biggest
can
issue
do
is
it.
movement speed, but it is literally her only flaw. She's really good. Besides that, Spaceys are
Sheik matchup. The Sheik matchup, if the Sheik is really grabby, like plays a heavy grab game, Sheik destroys Peach. And also, if the Sheik is like doing like back air versus forward aerial, Sheik has a hard time in that matchup.
really good in turn. Falco and Peach, in my opinion, I think it's an even matchup. I know that that's kind of a contentious thing that people can't seem to
I
agree
don't
on
know
whether
much about
Peach
that
or Falco
matchup.
wins.
Someone can.
I think it's dead on even. Puff has always been an issue for Peach, but I don't think it's insurmountable. It is a hard matchup though. And again, I'm not letting Genesis bias my tier list here. I think it's really
It
important
is a
because
really
that was
hard
amazing in a Peach
matchup.
Puff Grand Finals. I was not expecting to see. Now we're moving on to S tier.
Okay.
S tier is they do well in terms of these characters, have proven results to testify their success. Number 6, Captain Falcon. Captain
I agree
Falcon's
with
extremely
this.
fast, extremely good punish, insane crouch game, good grab and good throws.
I think the thing holding Peach back is Puff, Sheik, Fox. Those are the things that are really holding her back. If like the Fox and the Sheik and the Puff know what they're doing, Peach has a really hard time.
Except for back throw. Recovery is almost bad enough to send this guy into A tier though.
Nah.
He can squeeze in here because of how good his strengths are. Captain Falcon is really good. I know I said matchups are not a factor up here, but Falco does give Captain Falcon a hard time at the highest of levels. It is doable, however, in my opinion. I mean, I think the hardest matchup for the A tier characters, Peach being Fox and Puff, and Ices being, Yoshi, Fox, Peach, Puff, you know what I'm saying?
Falcon.
Captain Falcon just only really has to worry about Falco and Fox.
Sheik.
Sheik can be tough, but you have a really good punish on her and you're really fast, so you can dictate the pace of the game. I think that it is even, actually.
I have to disagree with that. I think Sheik's punish game is a lot better than Falcon's. If the Sheik fully optimizes it, I think Falcon has a hard time getting in because of needles. Any character that has a projectile, Falcon has a hard time with probably. If like Falcon has a hard time if you have a projectile in net and needles like confirm until your grab as Sheik. I think it's like slight advantage for us, but I think it's winning for Sheik definitely. I see where he's coming from, but I think Sheik can fuck, and I mean truly just fuck up Falcon.
I know that Wizrobe and other top Falcons think that Sheik is winning, but I think that we can do it, guys. And I think Captain Falcon does deserve S tier. It's barely, but he does.
I think it's a possible match, a doable matchup, but it's not winning. It's not even.
Does make it, in my opinion. Number 5, Jigglypuff. Rest is an absurdly good move. Good thing this thing is as slow as it is. Otherwise, it would be amazingly good with no downside whatsoever. Amazing range and aerial mobility. Best recovery in the game. Very consistent tournament.
I think the thing holding Puff back is lightweight, and being slow.
Character, but the top tiers above her have the ability to control the pace of the match. Puff does beat Sheik in my opinion, but not by much if the Sheik knows what they are doing.
I agree.
Hungry
with that.
Box has shown the potential of Jigglypuff, and I mean, people were saying Jigglypuff was first or second or third.
That's absurd.
Oh my god. I think that is nonsense.
It is.
I think Jigglypuff is too slow to make it happen. To be a second or third best character, there's no way. Because you have to play with a certain
I actually agree with this placement with Puff. I think Puff is 5th.
level of patience with Jigglypuff. And while this is not inherently bad, it almost feels like you're playing from behind because you're so light and you die
Is that
so
Sethy
early.
Buns in the background? Let's go.
It always feels like the other person is dictating the pace of the match due to their speed, because all the characters above Jigglypuff are faster, and a lot of the characters right below Jigglypuff are also faster. That is why I believe that. Number 5 is really good, and Jigglypuff needs respect on its name. However, I only think you could argue Jigglypuff being above Sheik, but not Marth and Falco ever, in my opinion.
I think you can make that argument, but I think I've like made a strong case for Sheik being above Falco and Puff.
I just don't think it's ever going to happen. Yes, Jigglypuff was very dominant, and I just think that's a testament to how good Hungrybox is. I really think it's that the man is that good. I don't think it was Jigglypuff carrying him in any way. Jigglypuff is a strong character, but that's it, strong. I don't think it's the best character. Number 4, Sheik. Really fast with amazing jump squat. Range,
Great aerials too. Great tilts.
needles,
Good
and
grab.
frame data. I mean, you've got it all with Sheik. Except for recovery. But even that is pretty tricky, and the recovery gives Sheik the advantage of
It has
having
its pros and cons.
amazing ledge stalls. And Sheik is pretty notable for having a good Marth matchup. And Sheik has a good matchup spread overall, I would say.
Sheik only loses to Puff and Ice Climbers. I will make that argument. I think Fox is doable as fuck. Not only doable as fuck, it's even.
Really dominant into the lower half of the cast.
I'll get into that take once I like make my matchup chart video.
But Fox and Ices in particular are a big struggle for Sheik. And something I mentioned in my F tier video is Zelda may have a use case. And because of that, I've decided to move Zelda up to the top of F tier because
I think you put Game & Watch in F tier, so I think Game & Watch is a lot better than Zelda, just because of Game & Watch's like weird niche against like Fox and like Captain Falcon. Zelda does not have a niche for two top tiers at all.
the thing is, Zelda's kicks are really good, Ices have a hard time responding to it, and Zelda's recovery is miles better than Sheik. So, because of that alone, in my opinion, it warrants usage of Zelda more than any of the other F tiers. Sheik is really an edge guard machine. It's a well-rounded character with no huge weaknesses to speak of. Number 3.
That's exactly why I put Sheik at number 3, is that Sheik doesn't really have like a big weakness.
Marth has always had amazing results, regardless of the era of Smash we are in. I think this is because Marth is a very good and consistent tournament character, and has obscenely good Spaceys matchup relative to the rest of the cast, making it a really good solo main just because Spaceys are the most prevalent character, bar none. Because of this, it's a really good idea to main Marth. You do have some really weird matchups though. Yoshi, Pikachu,
I think Sheik is like his only losing match. Sheik and Fox, maybe? Are like his only losing matchup, but the Fox matchup's not
they're
that
just
bad.
oddly not difficult, but it's just, I feel you have to play really different versus those two characters in particular, and it kind of throws a lot of Marths off. And because of that, if you're not familiar with the matchups, it can feel like it's winning, right? So, but I think that Marth goes even with Pikachu and Yoshi. That's a pretty hot take, and I think that
I don't think so. I think that's just Marth being bad at that matchup for years.
Marth loses to Sheik.
Maybe Yoshi. Maybe Yoshi.
I think it's 6-4, you know? And it's not the end of the world to have a losing matchup, but, you know, it's
What matchup he's
Sheik.
talking about?
That's a pretty hot take, and I think it goes even with Pikachu and Yoshi. That's a pretty hot take, and I think that Marth loses to Sheik. I think it's 6-4.
I'm the biggest Sheik believer, but I wouldn't say that. It's like 55-45.
You know? And it's not the end of the world to have a losing matchup, but, you know, it's just very strange that Marth struggles with certain things like Yoshi, and then with the best characters in the game, it's just wow. Like, he's really good, you know? But the thing is, I think Falco is number 2. I think after Yoshi, Falco
This is a wild take, in my opinion. Falco is either number 3 or number 4.
is the hardest character. To play this character optimally is a huge challenge. He is hard to play under pressure as well.
The thing about Falco is, I think Falco loses. I've changed my opinion. I think Falco loses to Marth and Sheik, and probably goes even against Fox. But that matchup is like very like weird.
Oh, like obscenely so. But I think that people have forgotten how dominant Falco can be. The primary reason
The thing about Falco 2 is every dominant Falco had a counter pick against like one matchup or the
Falco's
other.
above Marth is because I firmly believe that Falco has no losing matchup.
The Marth matchup, the Marth matchup, the Marth matchup.
I think that some matchups you have to play extremely
Explain the Marth matchup.
strictly. I think Marth is likely to have some losing matchups. Possibly the aforementioned Pikachu and Yoshi, but also Link is weird for him too. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's not a good look.
I don't even think that matchup's either losing either for Mars. I think that matchup's just weird. But even then, it's just a weird matchup. Falco has weird matchups too. Don't forget that.
When you're at this juncture of the tier list. And then the aforementioned Cheek issue. You know, if I truly believe that Falco has no losing matchups, but Marth does, you know.
You can believe that, but that doesn't make it true, you know?
By virtue of that statement, Marth has to be worse.
The Marth matchup, Falco gets destroyed. Not destroyed, but gets like really. Marth gives Falco a real tough time. And I mean a real tough time. The grab, the gimp. Any character that can gimp Falco, that's the thing too. Falco falls like a fucking hockey sack and doesn't have like the recovery like Fox does to make it back truly. Fox also has an issue with like getting gimped, but Fox at least has like a distance to make it back from.
Then Falco. Number 1, Fox. This is still the best character in the
I
game.
agree with this.
The difference between Fox and Falco and Marth are all extremely slim. It is a fair argument.
I think every character in the S tier has like a very slim margin of error. Like the matchups for between each other.
To say that any of the top 3 is the number 1 character. I think there are a small gap separating the top three from the rest of the S tiers, but not enough to warrant a tier separation.
I
But if I
agree.
had to, I guess S plus tier would be the top three, and then the S tier would be the other characters. The few amount of tiers that I have are intentional to show that these groups of character will generally serve you well, which ones will serve you fairly well, and the ones that will fare badly, as well as the ones to just avoid outright.
I agree with this. I agree with that take for the most part. Thanks for watching this. Don't send this guy any hate. Actually, check this guy's channel out. I left a I'll leave a link in the description for this guy. I'll put a I'll put the I'll put like the link in this one too. So don't worry. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good one.